This is the recap with no cap. And you've read the title of the thumbnail. You've clicked on it. Agatha All Along, episode 1. I do not remember the name of the episode. I'm gonna just bounce all around. I'm just gonna say what I remember from the episode. I'm gonna give a grade immediately. I'm gonna give the first episode a B minus. B minus. Now, overall, should a series be made about Agatha? No! No! It's pointless. It is a tie-in to an indirect character in Agatha Harkness, played by Kathryn Hahn, who's a tremendous comedic actor, among other things. But it's unnecessary. But does this episode pass? Yeah. Would I make a series based on this first episode? No, because it's pointless. But in and of itself, B minus. Okay? So the episode begins with Agatha. Her name was Agnes Connor, and the tone is very Law and Order, SVU, or Criminal Intent, or just plain old Law and Order, or back in the day, the old NYPD Blue. It's a cop drama or true crime. I've never even watched true crime, so I'm into it. I'm like, I like the tone, but even though the whole time I'm like this, I kind of pegged it immediately. I'm like, okay, this is probably like WandaVision, because clearly Agatha is Agnes. Like, it even had an intro that was along the lines of Law and Order. I was just waiting for a glom glom or some kind of sound. But they discover a body in the woods. They're like, typically, like, I don't know if that's the thing that caught on with Law and Order, but they're like sipping coffee. I guess it's early in the morning. They're like having banter back and forth, her and this black dude. I forgot his name. But I'm like, that's Agatha. She's in the spell still. Alright. And the body, they said she was crushed. So I'm expecting like something like comedic or flat. Like something like ridiculously like one-dimensional. But it's just a dead carcass. And it looked real. Like the hands are like blackened. So I'm like, whoa, this looks kind of serious. And then over time, the plot unfolds. Like everybody she encounters, I recorded audio. Okay, I record an audio track when I'm watching it for the finer points, and maybe one day I'll upload those, but they're kind of funny to me. But it's like, I'm like, the wheels in my head are going, and it's like this. Okay, I'm pretty sure that every person she encounters is a real world individual bleeding into her fantasy, or bleeding into her illusions. And that turned out to be correct. Okay, there's this Vidal. She's an FBI agent, Vidal. I was like, okay, she must be a counterpart of Agatha's, or Agnes's in this case. And it's just a little off. It's like WandaVision. It's like a regular narrative, because like I said, it's like a police drama, but it's just a little off, and it's a little eerie, and that's kind of what I like, because I like the way things unfold from real world to like supernatural world. Okay, it's kind of like a movie I saw with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves called The Devil's Advocate. Now I'm watching The Devil's Advocate, and it's just like kind of as a basic drama, and it all changes when Charlize Theron. That was the first movie I ever seen Charlize Theron in. When she's in the dressing room with this lady, and I'm not going to say what happened, but the lady turns, and her face alters, and I think everybody in the theater was like, "Huh? Like what? And from then on, the whole thing is just slanted in just a bizarre direction. The Devil's Advocate, okay? So I'm anticipating this too, even though I already know kind of the premise. It's like all these people are real world counterparts. Like there's a young man that she arrested that suddenly starts chanting. It's like the room changes. He's sitting in a brief flash. He's sitting in what do you call it? Some kind of sofa. I mean, not a sofa, but like a lounge chair that the FBI agent Vidal had been sitting in her apartment, Agnes's apartment. So that just further intensifies. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, they're bleeding in from the real world. And the weirdest scene is when she's in the library, okay? And then she goes to a section that looks like it was like in a fire, just as one part of the library. And then like this man like whispers to her. She turns around and he's like, this guy's like standing behind a bookshelf whispering. I'm like, weird. You know what I mean? Weird. Okay. And I was really into the episode. Okay. Now, of course, Agatha was not going to be under the spell of WandaVision the entire time, but she goes to examine, as Agnes, the detective, she goes to examine the body, and she says, "What color was her hair?" She says, "Scarlet." So I'm saying, okay, Scarlet Witch tie-ins, WandaVision tie-ins. So then a library card was used as the toe tag on this corpse. The one that Sid was crushed earlier, but it wasn't exaggeratedly crushed, but it was just like, okay. And then when the guy started whispering to her in the library, I thought about the Darkhold, the book, because I believe in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It was like blackened. For some reason, the charred section of the library reminded me of the Darkhold. Okay, so now try to follow me. The library card was from a book that had a term on it. The name of the book was a term, and when Agnes took each letter of the name of the book, it came out as Darkhold. So I said, all right, Darkhold, like the book. This is a tie-in to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness as well as WandaVision. And so then, let's go back to the corpse with the library card as the toe tag. So I said, what was her name? And I said, Wanda Maximoff. So then she looks at the card and it automatically like writes out Wanda Maximoff. So I'm like, oh, so the body that was crushed was the Scarlet Witch in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, because that's how Wanda apparently meets her end. Okay, so I'm like, oh, so basically Wanda's power over Agatha can now be undone because Wanda's dead allegedly. So then Agatha wakes up in her real world, and she goes through all these phases. She like strips off like layers of Agnes. She strips off layers of black and white Agatha from WandaVision. She strips off like all these articles until she's like nude. Okay, now you don't see her nude, right? So then she walks out of her house in the real world in Westville, New Jersey. Still, is it Westview? No, Westview, New Jersey. And she's talking to the black dude that was her detective partner in her illusion, but he turned out to just be her neighbor. But she's stark naked, and they surprised me because when Catherine Hahn's Agatha character walks back to her house, you see her rear end, and I'm like, Disney Plus? You showed a woman's butt? So then, of course, there's a pointless fight between the lady that was Vidal, the federal agent, talking about like they're witches and they don't use any magic, but she has like this curve. And that's when the episode starts to teeter to me. Like I said, I was into the weirdness. I was into the slant on reality. But when she fully woke up, that's when I was like, I didn't really care about the episode anymore. All right. So that's why it gets a B+, does not get an A. But it's not a terrible episode. It's just that when the delusion is over, it feels kind of cheap. I'm not going to lie. It feels kind of cheap or whatever. But like I said, B-, did I say B- or B+? I think I said B- for Agatha episode 1. I'm not sure if I'll do the rest of the series because it's about witchcraft. That's just not a topic that I'm really into. Maybe I will because episode 2 is out. I have not watched it yet. But if I do, you will see a reaction in the recap with no cap. All right. Thank you for all you people that support. You know what I mean? Not a whole lot. Okay, but maybe one day we'll get there. And let me know what you thought of Agatha, the first episode. Do you have low expectations? Do you have high expectations? Do you just have base, like I'm just going to watch it just to see what it is without going in with any preconceived notions? Like I did. I didn't have any preconceived notions or whatever. I wasn't going to hate watch from the beginning. Usually I hate it after I watch it. You know what I mean? But I don't hate this. It's just I don't know if a show about witches is something that's going to like interest me. All right. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of it. Leave as wordy a comment or dissertation, you know how I like to say, in the comment section to let me know about it. All right? Do your part. I'll do my part. So The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 can and will expand. It's in the name.